That was fun. So, Phoebe Rizzo talking to the void for the last point for our initial kickoff. And we're going to be going over kind of a sum up of, well, the month. And pointing out what I thought was the 5 best and 5 not. So, I should start off. This month, overall, the quality was pretty high, but that was sort of expected since I was hitting movies that I'd been meaning to see for a while. So usually that tends to lift what I expected the average was. I mean, I do seek out some terrible movies once in a while, but I was sort of aiming for better ones this time, and for the most part, I got that. So, given my usual ill takes, I was expecting to run into more ghost films, but actually, kind of doing a straw poll, I actually ended up seeing more alien films than other ones this year, capping out at 7 of them. 6 ghost movies, 4 serial killers, 3 demons, and 3 that I just listed as other, which were the main categories. The others being Doctor Sleep, Phantasm, and All Hallows Eve, because I'm not sure quite what category you put any of those ones in. Yeah, you only saw a couple of them. You don't get to weigh in. Now, so we'll start off with the 5 best. So, number 5, we're gonna have to go Cannibal Holocaust. Yeah, if I could actually speak, Cannibal Holocaust. So, this one is I believe it's a classic for a reason, and that it was more than I expected it to be. I was just expecting the run-of-the-mill cannibal gore fest, which I've seen numerous times, but this one definitely was a cut above by being a lot more interesting on the commentary that it was given to the filmmakers. Now, I've seen several other ones, such as Amazonia or Slave of the Cannibal God, just come to mind off the top of my head, but those ones were just okay. This one, definitely a cut above, so solid number 5. And the 5th slot was kind of highly contested. There's a lot of movies I debated putting up into this area, so a lot of runners up. This one squeaks up just above them, though. Number 4, Annabelle Comes Home. Now, most of the Annabelle films are touch and go, hit and miss. This one, it wasn't too scary, but it was fun. And sometimes that's really what you need. The movie that just has a good feel to it, and some of the interpersonal dramas between the characters I could relate to. I liked it. Number 3, Color Out of Space. Something Lovecraftian is going to breach the top 5. This is the one that did it, and Nick Cage plus Lovecraft, it's a winning combination. And just in general, it was a really good film adaptation overall, and I do highly recommend it overall. Between the effects, the pacing, and the characters, well done, and Nick Cage giving it his all. Number 2, The Poughkeepsie Tapes. Long sought, took me a while to finally get to it, and it was an ordeal too. But it takes the number 2 spot just from how much of a gut punch the movie can be. And just the overall filmmaking style did lend a good atmosphere to it. It was pretty much easy to forget you were watching a movie and not a documentary. And some of the twisted stuff that they did with it, it's gonna stick with me. And number 1, Doctor Sleep. Like I said in the video for that one, it's a brilliant and follow-up to The Shining, which is a tough act to follow. This one does a good job with it. I love Flanagan's work in general, and this one keeps with that same high quality. This movie just kind of has to be seen, just from how the surreal points are really well filmed. The characters are very entertaining, particularly Rose the Hat. And I don't know the actress's name off the top of my head, but she played the young protege that's just learning to shine, and she really helps bring everything home. So, best movie of the month. Found it early. It has to be Doctor Sleep. Okay, let's get down to the bottom. So, as I'm going to go from 5, in this case, not so bad. 1 is going to be the worst. And 5, The Mummy. Mostly just because of sheer frustration, but several other parts about it worked well enough to keep it away from sinking lower. But such a missed opportunity, and that's reason enough for it to hit the bottom grouping. Number 4, Sleepaway Camp, and that's mostly based on transphobia. And the utter lack of tension didn't help it. Some kooky acting really kind of helped keep it from sinking lower on the list, so it's worth seeing just for that. But several disclaimers for this one, so avoid it if you prefer to avoid anything transphobic related, but take the movie with a grain of salt, and it's at least watchable. Number 3, Flight 7500. My other one that was long sought, but this one, I fully expected it to be down here. Some interesting concepts kept it from the bottom 2, but being dull and poorly lit at times make it really hard to sit through, and while there were some interesting characters, none of them you could really get behind. So, an interesting take, also undersold by the trailer, selling a different movie than what you end up getting. Alas, but at least it was expected. Number 4, wrong direction. Number 2, Phantasm. I can understand why some people would like this film, but I just found it too baffling to really get into. And not being able to relate to what the heck is going on kind of made this one a tough sit. It felt way too long for what it was, and while some parts were bizarrely fascinating, it didn't make a cohesive narrative or a whole, and I still have no idea what the heck just happened. While the main villain, the tall man, was very interesting to watch, I have no idea what he was trying to do or why. And that makes it hard. And number 1 actually is going to be, maybe possibly surprisingly, it was a very early movie this month, Demonic Toys. I like a good full moon, low budget movie every once in a while. This one didn't do it for me. The toys themselves, while well animated, well puppeteered I should say, were flat and dull. I mean, the Jack-in-the-Box clown was kind of the standout there, but the robot with a laser gun, ooh, and the baby Oopsie Daisy with a switchblade, just when the character of one of your villains is saying your name and then Oopsie Daisy as you cause accidents, it's trying to be funny and it wasn't. It's trying to be creepy and it wasn't. There were some interesting ideas, but this movie was way too more complicated than a movie about killer toys needs to be. And you don't expect good acting going into anything from Full Moon. I'm sorry you don't. But this was bad. So, that's down there, but it still made it at least a 2, so it wasn't too much of a slog, but not good overall. Okay, that's my month. So, probably going to slow down the pace in general, try to work a little bit on the other series and see what happens, but I will say, it feels weird not talking about an individual movie while doing one of these, so what the hell, let's do one. Today, Easter Casket. Oh yeah. An Easter horror film. And a bad one. So, this movie was never intended to be good, but it was fascinating. Now, Easter Casket is directed by Dustin Wade Mills, who is kind of infamous among some over-the-top, low-budget, bad movies. And so, this movie has a hand puppet of an Easter bunny going around killing people. We have killer chocolate eggs that explode. We've got little chickens hatching and going on killing sprees. And most of the effects are done with toys and hand puppets and whatever they seem to have lying around. We've got a man with cardboard armor as our protagonist. Oh boy, this was interesting. Wow. So, plot. Okay, so let me try here. The Easter Bunny is angry because the Catholic Church is trying to excise the Easter Bunny and eggs and normal holiday paraphernalia from its the church in general, trying to bring it all back to Jesus. And this has angered Peter Cottontail. And so he is determined to get revenge on the church by murdering most people involved and trying to kill God. But on the other side, we have Father Asher, who seems to be just wearing a t-shirt with a little paper square that makes it look like the frock. He is a holy warrior charged by the Mega Pope to stop him. Okay, so... And there's a convention going on where it's 4 members, a father, a nun, and 2 Catholic schoolgirls, that's going to be meeting with a cardinal. And this is where the Easter Bunny is going to infiltrate to stop, and Father Asher has to... This movie was bad. Fascinating, though. I could not look away. I will say the gore effects were better than you'd expect, and for what they had to work with, they did a good job. The content-wise, wow. So every female character in this is naked at some point, I'm fairly sure. One nun, I can't quite recall if she was actually naked or if just had a sex scene, but there's that. There's a lot of sex and nudity in an Easter horror film, apparently. Some of it involving the Easter Bunny puppet himself, mostly with other bunny puppet toys in this weird drug montage. But I don't know what else there's to say about this movie. It was strange, weird, fascinating, but not good. It was trying to be funny, and at times it was. I will give it that. But for the most part, a lot of it fell flat, and the Easter Bunny puppet was not intimidating, except for its teeth. They looked like human teeth in this bunny puppet, which was a little unsettling. Particularly when one part of his plan hinges on him, since since Easter is like a fertility holiday, sex apparently gives him power, and so does blasphemy, so him attempting to coerce a Catholic schoolgirl into fucking him with bestiality. This is a weird movie. Okay, this one MacGuffin. It had points which kept me watching, but it was bizarre, and not always in a good way. Some credit is due for some interesting use of working what they had, but when some demons early on are just Halloween masks, being defeated by a guy with a plastic sword and cardboard armor, and then when the Easter Bunny grows to kaiju-sized proportions, you can see toy planes attacking him. Do I recommend this movie? No. If you are drunk, high, or have a group together to riff the hell out of it, this isn't a bad option. But, wow. Yeah, that's the note we're going out on. Easter Casket. The first one I'm giving out in this series. Okay. You all have your time. I'm going to go lie down, take a little breather from movies for a while. This one took it out of me.